Hi, this is Rabbi Young. Thank you for tuning in to the weekly video email. For those of you who tuned in last week and saw the video and wrote to me by email or came up to me at the service or spoke to me on Purim saying that my video cut off, allow me to say, gotcha. It was done on purpose. So go watch it again, watch more carefully, and you'll see why it was clearly a joke, especially when I say on Purim, we pull pranks on each other. But this week, it's not Purim anymore. We had so much fun last week. And this week's parasha is Shmini. And it speaks mostly about the sacrifices that Aaron and his sons did to dedicate the Mishkan, the traveling sanctuary in the desert, as well as the dietary laws for the Jewish people that we still mostly follow today. And the laws that are in Leviticus are all about the kind of animals that we can and cannot eat. So when it comes to mammals, we are told that we can eat anything that has true hooves and chews its cud. So it says in Leviticus 11:3, any animal that has true hoofs with clefts through the hooves and that chews the cud, these you may eat. And then it gives some examples of animals you cannot eat, but in order for an animal to be, as we call today, kosher, then it has to have both true hooves with clefts as well as a chambered stomach, which is shown by an animal chewing its cud. In the water, it has to have fins and scales, as we learn in Leviticus 11:10. And then starting in 13, so fins and scales, it has to have both. That's easy. But when it comes to birds and all types of birds, we get all kinds of, these are the birds you cannot eat, and these are the birds you can, where we get to learn about birds like the bustard and the hoopoe, and the fact that people who wrote the Torah thought that the bat was a bird. And those three birds I just mentioned are all no birds. We don't eat those. And yes, I know, I'm fully aware that the bat is a mammal. But all of this, what we can eat, what we cannot eat, and all of the details on them, there is one law that is missing in Leviticus, and that is the idea of mixing milk and meat that we come up with today, that we probably all know, do not boil a kid in its mother's milk. That does not appear in this week's parsha. It doesn't appear until Deuteronomy. And when it first appears, it appears after a list of festival sacrifices and things. So these are the things you're supposed to sacrifice on a festival. And by the way, don't eat a kid in its mother's milk, because that was something that pagans ate on their festivals. It was a delicacy at the time. And so we learn about the prohibited and permitted animals in this week's parsha, but the whole milk and meat discussion happens much later. One would say thousands of years later even. And a lot of our dietary laws today are based on these things. Now, the reason I bring this up is because Passover is coming, and we're so excited for a Passover meal and being able to eat together and being able to gather people around our Passover tables. And I hope that your Passover is wonderful, and that it's developing into what we call a Zissen Pesach, a sweet Passover. Some people will even wish you a kosher Pesach, which is to say that idea of dietary laws and keeping Passover is incredibly important at this time of year to us. People who would have a bacon cheeseburger any other week of the year, suddenly on Passover will only eat kosher chicken, or will be very, very careful to get all of the grains out of our homes. And it's incredibly important to us. Part of that is because food is important to us, and we like to cook, we like to eat. And I hope that as you develop into your Passover planning in the next couple of weeks, that you maybe take a look at these dietary laws and see if you can find something that might add a little extra meaning to your Passover Seder this year. Whether you look in the dietary laws in Leviticus 11, or whether you look them up in the Talmud, shoot me an email. I can show you where to find them in Pesachim, and or whatever you want to do. Go ahead and Google, what am I allowed to eat on Passover if I'm Ashkenazic, or if I'm Sephardic, or if I'm Mizrahi, or whatever it is, and see how you can imbue more meaning into your own Passover experience through food. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see each other very soon.